Hello, my name is Scott Cantrell, owner of Food Chain Lures and designer of the Bandit Craw. And this video is a tutorial to show you how to rig up the Bandit Craw in a couple different ways. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how we can get this thing rigged up. Okay, so your Bandit Craw kit's going to come with two Bandit Craws with a doom minnow secured into the claw. It's going to come with a 4/0 offset round bend hook and a 3/0 O'Shaughnessy hook. Now this is not an exact trailer hook. A trailer hook would be a 2/0. This is a Gamakatsu 2/0 trailer hook, and I'm supplying a 3/0 O'Shaughnessy hook that I personally sharpen myself. So these are very, very sharp. So keep in mind that if you want to use your favorite trailer hook, you're going to want to go with a 2/0. This is so that everything lines up perfectly from the craw down to the dune minnow. Okay, so this is for Texas rigging, Carolina rigging, structured jig head rigging. This is using your supplied hooks. First thing what we're going to want to do, you're going to obviously have your weight tied on to your line, or your bullet weight, onto your line. You're going to tie your line onto your hook, and then we're going to take the point of our hook and we're going to go in the tail, the very tip, just like this, just like you're Texas rigging a worm. You're going to go in and out immediately. That's probably a 1/4 of an inch that I've gone in and came out. So go to the offset shank, and then you come up and flip your hook over just like you're rigging a worm. So now at this point, our hook is facing, the tip of the hook is facing the belly of the bait. Now you don't have to use the O'Shaughnessy hook or a trailer hook, but I highly recommend doing so because I've caught bass and catfish hanging on the minnow alone. They never had this top hook, main hook in their mouth. It's almost like they were trying to steal this minnow. So I'm going to show you right now what you want to do is take your O'Shaughnessy hook, go ahead and slip it on before you put that point back into the craw. So we slid our trailer hook on, it's dangling. Now we're going to finish rigging the hook into the craw. Look at where the hook is going to line up. See right there, that point, that's where a point to go in. Down low, get it centered up, come out the top, just like that, see? And then we're going to Texpose the tip of that hook into the back of the bait, so that's weedless. Now you've got a dangling trailer hook or O'Shaughnessy hook sticking down there, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to take that hook and we're going to go into the belly of the bait, the belly of the dune minnow, and just push it in until you feel the tip of the hook starting to come out the back. You don't want to go all the way through, you just want it to be barely below the surface of that back. So there you have it, like that. When you're dragging this thing on the bottom, that hook, both hooks are underneath the bait, and it is extremely weedless. I've pulled through brush piles, timber, and this thing does not hang up hardly ever. I mean, you're going to get hung up eventually. It's just the nature of fishing a Texas rig, but this is extremely weedless, even with that second hook on there. Now, like I said, you'd have your bullet weight or a leader with a swivel, another bullet weight for Carolina rig, but I'm going to show you why I like using this Mustad Fast Touch football weight. Now, you just take your hook, you orient it the way that it's going to go on there like that, and just go on that side. There's a little tab there, you go on, flip it over. All right, there you have it. So what's going to happen is this bait's on the bottom of the lake. The weight's going to be sitting on bottom, and your craw is going to be floating like this, because this is not salt impregnated. I use crawfish oil for scent and flavor, but this bait is highly buoyant. It's going to rock up and down on the bottom as you're pulling it. So again, that's a Mustad Fast Touch football weight. You can get other grades of these weights. I think Strike King has a few, but that's what I use whenever I fish it, just like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at rigging this thing up on a skirted jig. All right, so now we're going to rig this up on a skirted jig. This is an Elite Blitz 1/2 ounce football jig. Now you can use your favorite jig. It can be Strike King Tour Grade, Dirty Jigs, whatever. But just like putting on any trailer, what you're going to want to do is cut your soft bait down so that it'll fit perfectly on your jig. Now this is extremely important with the Bandit Craw so that the hooks will line up. If you don't plan on using the trailer hook, you can just thread it on. You know, you can cut the very tip of the tail off if you want, just to make it more compact. Thread it on just like a normal jig and it'd be hooked like that. But in this case, we're going to use our supplied O'Shaughnessy hook. So what you want to do is have the hook point come out just behind the eyebrows there. It's not really eyebrows, but the crest of the shell right there. You want that hook to come out. So you line your jig up, and I know that I want to cut mine off right here at the second segment. Not the first one, but the second one. So I'm going to take a pair of scissors. I'll cut it off there. Okay. So now Bandit Craw looks like that. Okay, now this is where you got to pay attention. It's going to go on the hook. Now you can take your weed guard, just hold it out of the way, just like that. You can put it back in place. You're going to want your hook to exit the belly of the bait. So we're going to come in the back, just like that, and then exit the belly of the bait. Let's go in about a 1/4 inch. All right. So we've gone in the belly and come out. Now we're going to run it up onto the jig, just like so. Flip it over so that the belly is facing down. Okay, so now we're just about through. Now we're going to go ahead and put on our O'Shaughnessy hook or trailer hook, just like that. Okay, so now we're going to, it's just like Texas rigging, but it's on a jig, and it actually makes this thing stand up off the bottom a lot better. So we're gonna go through the underside, come out the back, just like that. So there you have it. So when this thing's sitting on the bottom, it's sitting up instead of laying down flat. It's going to be off the bottom, elevated. Now we're going to finish just like we did with our Texas rig. You're going to take that trailer hook and you're going to stick it in the belly of the bait, belly of the minnow. Don't go all the way through. You want to feel that hook point right there in the back. And then there you have it. It's going to be weedless. And you can drag it on the bottom. You see how that sets up off the bottom a lot more than just laying flat? Let's take one more look at the side view of this. Now you can slide it up the hook a little bit depending on how much you want it to be sticking up off the bottom. I prefer something about like that right there, so that it's still off the bottom, you know, as if it's in a defensive posture, versus just, you know, if it was threaded onto the jig, it'd be flat like that. This is going to be standing up, still weedless here, and the O'Shaughnessy hook is weedless as well. Well guys, there you have it. Those are a couple ways to rig the Bandit Craw. This is fishing. I'm sure you guys will come up with some other ways. But there you have it. Good luck on the water. Remember, support, catch, and release. Take a kid fishing. Everybody take care.